this printed out in my 3D printer. As you can see here, it's kind of cone shaped, and it goes down to a straight wall, and then it goes even smaller. That allows it to fit on top of these barbs, slide down, and it'll guide the straws in, so the straws will be able to just, and it'll line it up to the square part and slide right on top of your barbs. That way it's easier to line up. So when I have this, it should line them all up and put them all in. A lot easier than trying to wiggle these on the barbs. So we're gonna give it a shot and see how it works. Okay, so we're gonna mount the barbs up. Push them on here. Just about got it. Here we go. And then we'll give it a try.
Okay, so here we go. So I got the cone shapes on the barbs. We're going to get some straws in this tray. This tray also printed on my 3D printer. It holds the straws at the correct spacing. It's made out of taper, so that way when I put this top cover on, it holds everything nice and snug. It's not too tight. It doesn't pinch the straws at all. But see how it lines it up right here? All we got to do is get them lined up a little bit and just push them on. You'll feel them kind of go inside that correct side diameter right on top of the barb. Then we just open up the valve and start filling them up. We got all these valves on the manifold partially open, so that way we control the flow so they're all fairly even. It's not 100%, but it's close. You kind of tweak them as you go. I have some better ideas in the future for some of this, but this is kind of a quick and easy way to get things going. But so, I don't know, it takes a few, maybe like a minute or so to fill these straws up. And it would be a lot faster if I had 2 trays, so I can fill them up. As one's filling up, I can be sealing the other set, as you'll see here shortly. So you can see they're almost full. You shut one valve off and it stops them all. That way you don't have to always mess around with each valve, try to get them set right. Some of them get over full, so we gotta pinch it down or open it up a little bit and try to get them all kind of balanced. I think this manifold, since the honey only comes in on one side, it tends to fill up these ones on the left side or on the bottom side of the screen a little bit faster. So once that's done, you pull them out. They're a little bit snug, so they don't come out perfectly straight, so you tap them so they're all even, and then we seal them. So now with the straws still in the tray, it holds them nice and straight, and we take them to the impulse sealer. I have mine set on high, and I keep it there for about 10-12 seconds. And then I might even let up on it so it resets the timer, and then go again, maybe 1 or 2 more times even, to get that wire to cut the plastic in half, so that way it just makes it a little easier. Something I learned as I kept on going on. Otherwise, you have some tailings that stick out and don't look really good. You want to cut them with the scissors just to make them look better. One thing too, make sure you use an impulse sealer with the wire and not with a flat ribbon. It makes a lot better seal. And see, we got these tailings right here. I'm trying to pull them off. Some of them you can pull off if you got them hot enough. You just peel them off. But these were a little tight, so grab a scissors. And while they're still in the tray, they're nice and straight. A lot easier to cut them all at the same time rather than trying to go through one at a time and holding each one and cutting them. These just kind of get all lined up perfect, and you just cut them off. And these are peeling pretty good, so I didn't even need the scissors. But yeah, just go ahead and do that. Better if you have your sealer set correctly, and you won't even have to deal very much with this. You have a few, but not very many. And then all you gotta do is, once this is done, once you're done peeling off all the plastic on the ends of your straws, now all we have to do is pull them out of the tray. It just slips right off. Get these straws out. Get them out of your way, put them in a container, wherever you can put them. Get some new straws, fill up, and go again. Now, it'd be best to have 2 sets of trays if you were going to do this a bunch this way. That way, while one set is filling up, you can have the other set sealing them, cleaning up the tailings if you need to, and putting new straws back in, getting them clamped down, ready to go. And so it'd be kind of a constant movement. Wouldn't be boring at all. If you always had a nice pressure, it'd probably flow a little better. So I was always putting a couple more pumps in, or a pump after each tray I would fill up. But if you had a better way of having a tank that you can have regulated air come in, and you probably want, if you're using an air compressor, you want to have some type of filtration system so you don't get any contaminants in there. And that's my plan eventually. So all this setup is just kind of a test, a trial of what I'm going to do here. It's going to look a lot different, not going to quite look the same. Going to be using a different tank, going to use compressed air, and going to kind of use those cone shaped pieces to put the straws in. I probably won't be using the barbs anymore if I can get by with that. Just kind of makes things a little more simple, less things you have to deal with. On those barbs, I actually sanded them down, or put them on my lathe and turned them down a little bit so they slid right in the straw real easy. But if I can get by without doing that, those barb fittings aren't cheap for like stainless or brass. If I can get to a point where I don't have to use those, it makes it a lot easier. One thing too, these valves here on this manifold, I don't want to use this type of valve. This is not a good way to meter the flow. I'm going to be using a needle valve, and that'll be a lot better adjustment. I will make a new manifold, probably out of aluminum, just because it's a little easier in the machine. And I might stagger them on like a square stock aluminum, so that way they kind of fit in a nice tighter little block. We'll still have the tubing. I want to go to a 3/8 tubing because the 1/4-inch tubing has a really small diameter. The inner diameter is really small, and so flow takes a little longer, as you can notice here. And so I want to make something a little larger, flows a little easier. But it is working, and these little tiny things I think will be big improvements, speed things up a little faster.